Hello, I'm Morgan Peckma. Today on City and State TV, our guest is Dr. Debra Whitman. She is the Executive Vice President for Policy, Strategy, and International Affairs at AARP. Dr. Whitman, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So we're here to talk about the new report that AARP and AARP New York released about the longevity index, and there were so many fascinating takeaways from this report, and I was wondering, what were the statistics and the findings that really jumped out at you?
I think a couple things. One, even though you have a diverse population of 50 plus, they care about the same issues. They care about sort of pocketbook issues, about making sure that they can pay their utilities and remain in their home. But they also are, facing discrimination if they're in the workplace, or having trouble caring for their loved one if they have an aging parent or a grandparent or an aunt or an uncle they're taking care of. All these issues are not unique to New York State, but the voices were really, really strong.
We had a capacity turnout for our forum today about the report and such an engaged audience. And there was a lot of, I think, illuminating things that came out about misconceptions about the baby boomer population. What are some of the I think, the often misheld views about the baby boomer population that you identify?
Well, I think everybody knows they're strong voters, but I think the unanimity of people's opinions on issues may have surprised some folks. Issues that older retirees, 2/3, don't feel confident that they either can retire or will in the near future. And for the people that believe that they can retire, many of them are looking to leave New York State, which I think isn't what they probably want to do. They want to be close to their homes and their families. So there's a lot of work to do to keep this active and engaged aging population right here in New York.
And also about how varied the boomers' experiences are. You pointed out in our forum that there are a lot of baby boomers who are minimum wage earners. And one of your colleagues pointed out about how many entrepreneurs, how many startups are being founded by baby boomers, more than people in their 20s. Is there a commonality of experience that we can look at when we're thinking about baby boomers, about approach to retirement savings and securing baby boomers' future?
Actually, no. I think there's such diversity of the 50 plus population, but there is a commonality about their core beliefs. Many of them feel that having their communities pay attention to their needs as they age is really, really important, and they're willing to vote for somebody for that. Most of them get the fact that even if they or half of the population have a pension or a 401k, that everybody should have access. So I think there are minimum wage retirees, there are very high income workers, all in this survey that we did of the 50 plus in New York. So the economic experience and where people are in their lives is very different, but the issues that matter to them most really rang true across the whole population.
And we've heard for years, as the baby boomer population has aged, about the economic concerns surrounding their this demographic bubble is obviously going to have such a great impact upon our society. Mm-hmm. But while our viewers might understand very well about the importance of this issue, have our policymakers come around to seeing and addressing both the opportunities and the challenges that come along with the baby boomer population coming of age?
That's a great question, and you're right. It's not as if we didn't see this coming. We've had 60 years, 50 years for the last of the baby boom to understand that we were going to have more people aging and in retirement, and we've done so little of what's necessary to prepare for it. That said, there's one area that New York has been a real leader, and that's at the city and county level of looking at ways to make their cities more age-friendly. So this is a growing movement across the state and actually across the country, but New York State is a huge leader in having mayors, county officials say, I'm going to talk to my constituents about what they need for housing, transportation, healthcare, 8 different areas, and talk to them about how we can improve our local environment to meet their local needs. And again, it's going to be different in New York City than it is in Onondaga County. But in all of those places, having that conversation about what we have and what we need with our constituents and our 50-plus population is so important.
And both for our viewers who work in politics and government and just our viewers who are concerned citizens, I mean, what can people at home do to try to accelerate or intensify this conversation so that we address the concerns and opportunities surrounding baby boomers?
That's a great question, and I think really the power of AARP is our members, our volunteers who use their voice to say what it is that's important to them. You know, this survey asked of, you know, would you vote for a candidate who supported X issue? And there were nonpartisan issues, helping people take care of their loved ones after an illness, for example, or save for their future. And we've got super majorities of the 50-plus that'll vote for that. And so politicians should be reading this survey and seeing what are the issues that are really of concern for their constituents, and trying to enact those changes. You know, God knows I would love us to do that in Washington, D.C. as well, but we really need the states to take a leader on these issues where the federal government hasn't.
Well, this is such a fascinating and important report. Our viewers can go to aarp.org/ny to look at the complete report. They can also go to cityandstateny.com to view the video of our conversation today. Dr. Whitman, thank you so much for joining us on City and State TV.
Such an honor to be on City and State. Thank you for having me.